Hello viewers, today you will watch an episode that was suggested by one of you, I mean LegoVader.pl, for which idea I appreciate and thank you very much. And I know you suggested me more videos, but don't worry, whole story of Angry Birds Space and whole story of Angry Birds Go and also whole story of Angry Birds plushies I'm still creating, and I have a plan to release them this year. As I said in 400 sub special, I have a plan to make all your videos and release them this year. It will take me some time because you give me so many ideas, but don't worry, I will do all of them this year. So if you have more ideas for videos about Angry Birds or other games, then remember to write them in the comments, and I promise I will make them and I will release them for you. But before we move to the whole story of angrybirdsstarwars, I would like to apologize to you that it took me so long. I had to correct script several times due to incorrect days, which is meant I have to record this episode again. But because of that, you can enjoy a fully verified episode with our real information. I would also ask you to leave a like so I would know you want more videos like this, and also to write down in the comment what do you think about this type of videos. And also remember to subscribe our channel for more this type videos. And let's move on to this video. The whole story starts on December 12, 2010, because back then Oski Champy suggested a collab between Angry Birds and Star Wars, long before releasing the game. Unfortunately, tweet Oski Champy isn't public anymore, which means he is now lost media. And only thing that confirms its existence is a reply from official Angry Birds account. But as we can see, creators liked this idea because they eventually begin negotiating agreements for such cooperation, which resulted in the start of works on this project. May 8, 2012. Earliest prototype version of angrybirdsstarwars ever found dates back to this period. This version is V3316. It have a prototype version of Tatooine, Death Star, planet from Path of the Jedi, and bonus levels, and also it features an early look for 8080 blocks. It also has a difference in Vader sounds, like it have more, and also in Yoda sounds. And also other music and some character sounds which were modified version of birds from Angry Birds Space and background tracks from Angry Birds Space, such as menu_launch 1. It was in early stage of project at this time. Developers weren't sure if they finish this project, so what we see from files, they are using assets from Angry Birds Space before the remaining agreements with Lucasfilms were finalized. June 28, 2012. Probably at this day, the final decisions of contracts were finalized between Rovio and Lucasfilms, which gave the green light to continuing Angry Birds Star Wars project. Probably back then, these concept arts were created. But on October 8, 2012, on Angry Birds official channel were released first teaser for Angry Birds Star Wars with Ben Kenobi. But on October 11, 2012, in USA, on New York Comic Con, Hasbro unveiled Angry Birds Star Wars figures for the first time, which went on sale on October 28, 2012. But on November 8, 2012, Angry Birds Star Wars was released with the main version 1.0.0 for most devices and version 1.0.1 for some Android devices. Back then, there were chapters like Tatooine, Death Star, Path of the Jedi, and bonus levels. Game had its own system of upgrading our birds, which improves their power after beating specific levels. What's more interesting, on Windows phones, game have its own achievements. But also in a short time, the patch version 1.0.2 was released, which corrects minor bugs that caused crashes on some devices and optimized the game. But also in November 2012, 5th series of mystery box with angrybirdsstarwars characters went on sale. And on November 29, 2012 was released the first update 1.1.0 to angrybirdsstarwars, which adds first 20 levels of chapter half and support for resolution 2048 by 1536, but only for Android. But on December 10th, on 2012, on App Stores was released a free game angrybirdsstarwars Free in version 1.0.0. This game have only 4 levels from Tatooine, 4 levels from Death Star and 4 levels from first part of Hoth. But on December 17, 2012 was released a new game angrybirdsstarwars on Facebook in beta version. But day later, on December 28, 2012 was officially released. By this time having new system of power-ups, new system of 5 levels tournaments changing every week, and whole chapter Tatooine. But on January 31st, 2013, angrybirdsstarwars get a new update 1.1.2. This update have a title Escape from the Hoth, where the rest levels of this chapter were added. But on February 25th, 2013, on game version on Facebook angrybirdsstarwars for Facebook was released first 20 levels from Death Star. But on March 11, 2013, angrybirdsstarwars gets a new update. 1.1.3. Then added the Tunes button and possibility to turning off notifications only for Android. In meantime, developers working on update 1.2.0 because we managed to find prototype version v6566, which shows that the developers don't abandon the prototype naming because developer versions have different numbering than the public versions. This version including difference such as level 6 from Cloud City, which is level 5 in prototype and includes an additional blower, or 11 level in prototype have Leia instead of Obi-Wan, and other changes to the levels such as numbering, characters, and famous placeholder level. But among the more interesting differences, chapter Cloud City is named Bespin, like Boba Fett missions are called bounty missions there. And the most interesting one, in prototype, in purchase options on bounty missions, Boba Fett was called Boba Fett. And also on March 2013 was released a second series of mystery box with angrybirdsstarwars figures. And on March 28, 2013, angrybirdsstarwars gets an update 1.2.0, which adds first 20 levels of chapter Cloud City and missions of Boba Fett. At the same day was released a hotfix update to angrybirdsstarwars 1.2.1. But on April 2nd, 2013 were added rest of the levels of Death Star to angrybirdsstarwars for Facebook. But on April 25, 2013 was released another hotfix update to angrybirdsstarwars 1.2.2. But in May 2013, angrybirdsstarwars Free got his first update, 1.1.1. They are added there only a button for tunes. But on June 13, 2013 was released a new update 1.3.0 to angrybirdsstarwars. This update added another 20 levels to Cloud City and power-ups from Facebook version. In this time probably they are working on teleports in game Angry Birds 120, which have a name angrybirdsstarwars Teleports Edition. This game was only a test and was never released publicly, but later I will tell you more about this version. But on July 15, 2013 was released the official trailer for angrybirdsstarwars 2 and Teleports, and that the game will be released on September 19. September 9, 2013. On this day, final console version of angrybirdsstarwars port developed by Activision on behalf of Rovio, which is the console disc press. This version is a PS3 port, and aside from code and production date, is identical to the final release. Fortunately, this version has been archived by the Hidden Place archivist group. September 12, 2013 was released an update 1.4.0 to angrybirdsStarwars. This update has a chapter Moon of Endor, this time with all of the levels. But on 16 of September 2013 was released a hotfix update 1.4.1 to angrybirdsStarwars. And in the short time from this version was released a version 1.3.1 to angrybirdsStarwars 3. But on September 18, 2013, angrybirdsStarwars 2 was released, a day earlier than originally was planned. In this version, game only have 3 chapters: Invasion on Naboo, Escape to the Tatooine, and Rewards chapter. And by this time in the game was only 32 characters, and they are Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Yoda, Jar Jar Binks, Anakin Episode 1, Kapitan Panaka, Padme, Anakin Episode 2, Jedi Younglings, Mace Windu, Chewbacca, R2-D2, C-3PO, Han Solo, Leia, Pilot Luke, Endor Luke, Jedi Luke, Jango Fett, Darth Sidious, Battle Droid, Darth Maul, Count Dooku, Droideka, Zam Westley, General Grievous, Anakin Episode 3, Biker Scout, Stormtrooper, T-Fighter Pilot, Darth Vader, and Boba Fett. This game have a new system of teleports and a new system on playing on Porkside. On the same day started a sale of teleports figurines, which subsequent series of which appeared along with subsequent characters in the game. Soon after, game angrybirdsStarwars 2 Arcade came out, created by Rovio and LucasArts for Hasbro Arcade. It was used to promote angrybirdsStarwars 2 and teleports, but unfortunately we don't know much about it except that it was cancelled very early and removed from Hasbro Arcade app. It also had 25 levels, supported teleport system, featured various minigames, and also have a score and point system. Unfortunately, apart from the screenshots, practically nothing has survived, so this game is now lost media. But on October 24, 2013, angrybirdsStarwars 2 was released on computers where instead of teleports, they have an ability to collect coins from stars. On October 29, 2013, only in USA, angrybirdsStarwars was released for consoles Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, PlayStation Vista, Wii, Wii U, and Nintendo 3DS. This version has also party mode, where players competed to see who would get the biggest high score, and chapter exclusive levels with 20 new levels. But on 31st of October 2013 was released a first update to angrybirdsStarwars 2, version 1.1.0. They added there 2 treasure maps, 4 secret levels, and 4 characters: Silver C-3PO, Hologram Darth Sidious, Shadow Trooper, and Red Battle Droid. And as previously said, their figures were released to sale the same day. But on November 1st, angrybirdsStarwars had its global premiere on consoles, and it was no longer exclusive to America. But on December 5, 2013, was released an update 1.2.0 to angrybirdsStarwars 2. They added a chapter Battle for Naboo, 2 new treasure maps, and 4 secret levels. Then was released a hotfix update 1.2.1, which was a fast fix of glitch which made a game crashes on some Android devices. But on November 17, 2013, was released an update 1.5.0 to angrybirdsStarwars, which added chapter Death Star 2. A bit later was made another hotfix update 1.5.2 to Angry Birds Star Wars. But on November 25, 2013, Angry Birds Star Wars 2 was officially released for free. Before that, it cost 99 cents. But HD version was still costing money. On March 3rd, 2014, Angry Birds Star Wars on Facebook was closed forever. But on March 13, 2014, was released an update 1.5.3 to Angry Birds Star Wars, which was only hotfix update, except for Windows phones, where adds power-ups and chapter Path of the Jedi. On March 20, 2014, was released an update 1.3.0 to Angry Birds Star Wars 2, named Carbonite Pack, which adds 2 new treasure maps, 4 new secret levels, to chapter Battle for Naboo, support for Rovio accounts, and 8 new characters: Lando Calrissian, Jedi Knight Kit Fisto, Wicked Ewok, Carbonite Han Solo, Royal Crimson Guard, Jabba the Hutt, Tusken Raider, and Shock Trooper. But on May 22, 2014, was released an update 1.4.0 to Angry Birds Star Wars 2, named Galactic Giveaway. A new quest was added with 1000 coins, Carbonite rewards, way to use birds on pork side and pigs on bird side for an appropriate fee. Single use costs 10 coins and for all levels for 299 coins. On July 3rd, 2014, was released an update 1.5.0 to Angry Birds Star Wars 2. Was added a chapter Rise of Clones, in these 2 new treasure maps and 4 secret levels. They also added last chance option. If you used all your birds or pigs and your enemies are still alive, you can summon another bird or pig from character swap stock. Also, they added some new achievements, and later was released another hotfix update 1.5.1, which fixed stability for chapter Rise of Clones, where they fixed glitch where some treasure maps didn't unlock secret levels. But on September 17, 2014, was released an update 1.6.0 for Angry Birds Star Wars 2. There were added chapter Master Your Destiny, where you chose your birds or pigs with 20 levels. But on November 6, 2014, was released an update 1.7.0 to Angry Birds Star Wars 2, which added chapter Rebels and 16 levels to Master Your Destiny chapter and 12 new characters: Ezra Bridger, Sabine Wren, Chopper, Hera Syndulla, Kanan Jarrus, Gara Zeb, Zeb Aurelius, Inquisitor, Agent Kalus, ATDP Pilot, C-4 Vizago, Vizago Droid, and Imperial Officer. Next, in December 2014, was released an update 1.7.2, which optimized the performance of new characters from series Rebels. In 2015, Angry Birds Star Wars 3 was unified on basic basis with normal version of Angry Birds Star Wars, which changed into free version. In this time, Angry Birds Star Wars 3 have 3 more hotfix updates: 1.5.1, 1.5.2, and 1.5.3, which after in 2016 Angry Birds Star Wars 3 was deleted. On 2nd February 2015 starts a famous promotion of Angry Birds Star Wars plushies at Tesco. Stamps were issued until March 25, 2015, and the plushies could be purchased until March 31st, but on 5th February 2015, update 1.8.0 to Angry Birds Star Wars 2 added chapter Revenge of the Pork and next 16 levels to chapter Master Your Destiny. And in March 2015 was released an update 1.8.1 to Angry Birds Star Wars 2, which fixed a glitch in Revenge of the Pork which some magnetic blocks weren't working properly. But on January 26, 2016, was released an update 1.9.1 to AngryBirds 2, only a hotfix update and optimized the game for newer versions of Android and iOS, but on February 18, 2017, was released an update 1.9.19 to AngryBirds 2, which changes game engine to be compatible with 64-bit processors. Later, on March 31st, 2017, were released update 1.5.10 to Angrybirdsstarwars, only adding .tv to Toons button. But later, on May 26, 2017, was released an update 1.9.22 to AngryBirds 2, which removed integration with disabled social media service like Facebook. Later were only patch versions, because in December 2017 was released 1.5.11 for AngryBirds, which includes fixes for ads and Google Play game service. On January 22, 2018 was released an update 1.5.12 which broke the music in main menu. And last update on August 31st, 2018, 1.5.15, which adapts the game GDPR requirements and implements the 64-bit architecture requirement. In February 2019, Rovio announced that the game will be withdrawn due to the license expiration. On December 12, 2019, was released last update 1.9.25 to AngryBirds 2, preparing game for legacy mode. Ultimately, it was supposed to help the game survive as long as possible without support from developers, but unfortunately, they left one problem, which was downloading OBB files from cloud. But in February 2020, both games was deleted from app stores, which in other ways than from private libraries, they cannot be downloaded. But the story doesn't end here. On December 25, Archive team Hidden Place found and archived an early build of the PlayStation 3 version, which was previously discussed here. On December 21st, 2023, Angry Birds 120 was found in TerraLeak test flight files. The game has named AngryBirdsStarwars Telepods Edition, which was a test of telepods by Hasbro. It was most likely used for testing telepods and wasn't planned to be publicly released. Along with this, trailer was found to this game. It was intended for private use only, not to public use. In this trailer, you can see the prototype appearance of telepods and also that they were initially planned for first Angry Birds Star Wars instead of the second one. February 15, 2024 marks official end of Angry Birds Star Wars story. On that day, players noticed that Angry Birds Star Wars 2 can download OBB files from the cloud. In this way, Rovio permanently cut off support for this game, and currently, only way to play this game is either to have a version which already downloaded these files or downloaded a modified version by the community. But on August 6, 2024, on Hidden Birds Discord server archived, Angry Birds Star Wars prototype version have been archived, such as V3316 and V6566, which about I told you previously in this episode, which shows that even though the official Angry Birds Star Wars story has ended, the game may still contain hidden versions or even things that they were lost during the production. And that's the entire story of Angry Birds Star Wars. Thank you for watching this episode. If you enjoyed this episode, remember to leave a like. And also, Write down in the comments what do you think about it. And also, write which of these events, in your opinion, was the most important in entire history of Angry Birds Star Wars. And if you don't want to miss next videos about Angry Birds or other videos proposed by you, then subscribe our channel with a bell so you don't miss them. Again, I'm sorry that you need to wait that long for this video, but I want it to be refined as possible. One more time, thank you for watching this episode, and see you in the next videos. Shade by shade.